Call to order today's Fisher's Plan Unit Development Committee meeting.
Ms. Baumgartner.
Here.
Ms. Bowman.
Here.
Mr. Curran.
Here.
Mr. Peterson.
Here.
And Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a quorum. First matter on our agenda today is PUD-21-11 Milford Park. Leonard Holmes of Indiana Inc. requests approval of residential home elevations for a new 121-unit single-family residential development known as the Milford Park PUD. The property is generally located on the east side of Florida Road north of Untitled Chapter.
Yes, good evening. Both items on tonight's agenda are located in the same area of Fisher, so I have them shown before you on this aerial, but what's highlighted, the first item is Milford Park. So we're going to be looking at home elevations for two new proposed developments. One is by Lennar, and then the other is by Fisher Homes. So the first item is for Milford Park. That is the Lennar side, so that is highlighted here in red. This would be for a maximum of 121 single-family homes. Just to point out some features of the development, they will be extending Cynthian Road from the existing Welchel Springs segment to Florida Road. They'll also be making the necessary improvements along Florida Road. They'll be proposing an internal sidewalk network throughout the development, as well as preserving trees in the southeast corner. And then there will be a stub to future development to the south. So here are the home elevations that they're proposing. These elevations will be incorporated into the PUD ordinance, so all homes will need to be substantially similar to what is proposed here before you today. There's a total of, I believe, 15 elevations, 5 floor plans. So on the screen right now is the architectural collections for the 2100 and the 2200. These would be for the single family, or the one story. And then here are the 2-story homes, which are the 2800 and the 3000. And then this is for an additional 2-story, the 3500. So in the staff report, we did identify 2 home elevations that we thought additional features could be added. On the 2100, we felt that an additional color would add some variations right here with the shake siding. And we have talked to Lennar and they have agreed to make that a different color. I think that's already been incorporated into some of their plans. And then for this 3000, we did ask that this front porch be extended just to add, again, some additional variation to that front elevation. This model, some of the other models within this floor plan do show that porch extension. So I believe Lennar has agreed to either remove this and just keep the porch extensions on the other 2 home elevations if the PUD committee decides to do so. Otherwise, I will turn it over to Steve Harden, who's representing Lennar, to add any additional comments.
Thank you, Megan. Good evening, members of the PUD committee. For the record, my name is Steve Harden. I'm a partner of the law firm of Fagery Drinker, and I'm pleased to be here this evening on behalf of Lennar. And with me from Lennar is Mr. Ty Reinhardt. If you have any questions for the builder, he's here tonight. Megan did a great job of the overview. The only other, I guess, one thing to add is the home prices for these homes from Lennar are expected to run between $420,000 and $500,000 with an average of about $480,000. And Megan's correct that on the first one, the 2100 series, the staff had asked to maybe change the color of the shake siding that's up above. And if I can do this right, let's see. Nope, I'm not controlling the cursor, but I can see it on my screen. You guys can't. It doesn't look like. You want to show me? Did you point that out where it was already?
Yeah, you should be able to show it.
There it is. You're doing it. Right there. Perfect. Oh, on this one. Yep. So right here is where the staff had asked for that to be a different color. Lennar said no problem, happy to do that. With respect to this one over here, Lennar, the staff asked, could you just extend this craftsman style front porch across the window? They really can't do that. It's not that they don't want to be cooperative, that they've got other elevations that have the front porch that goes across. They like having the diversity. If the committee doesn't like this one, they'd exit out and just not offer it, instead of trying to change the plan to extend that porch across, because they do have other elevations that have the front porch going all the way across for that floor plan. So they like the opportunity to be able to offer it. It's a nice looking craftsman style, and some people don't want a big front porch. They'd rather spend their money somewhere else, but they're, again, open to collegially work through it. If the committee would rather them drop that one, they would, but they just don't feel that it's appropriate to extend the front porch on that one, since they have ones essentially already that do that. With that, we would request your favorable recommendation tonight. We'd be happy to answer any other questions that you might have for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Board members, any questions, comments?
I have a question on this two-story building you're just speaking of. Can you bring up the other elevations that are of that style so we can see what they look like?
Yes, thank you. Packet in here.
Yeah.
Do you have the black and white?
The two on the bottom.
Do you have a packet? Does that have more than just those? Yes. So these are we're showing the three colored ones. There's also a variety in your packet. You'll have seen a variety of different elevations as well. We can kind of show those as well if you'd like. So here's the floor plan that we're talking about. Shows the elevation change, bird's eye view, kind of showing the articulation along the front, both on the first floor and the second floor. Those are the three kind of primary colored different elevations. And then Ty, if you want to walk through.
Yeah, well, and the primary reason that it really, extending the porch on that particular elevation doesn't make sense is, you can see there on the left, we've got a reverse gable and that sticks out. So extending that porch, it's not going to be a functional porch. You can see where the porch is now, it goes back as a portico, and I think we measured it's like 8 feet deep. So, extending it down is really not going to be a functional porch. And then we have to switch the windows. These windows have to get smaller, that type of thing. So it's not just an easy, quick redo.
So the way you got it designed, when that plan is designed now, is you got one with a full porch and two with small porches.
Right.
Essentially. The alternative would be two full porches and one small porch.
Well, and if you
Or one full and one small that you pulled out there.
yeah, but if you look all through the other home plans we have and elevations, we have several that have full porches and some that don't. And we obviously, architectural diversity, honestly, the most important factor in creating an attractive streetscape is architectural diversity. So we want to have a combination of styles and architectural features. So porches are great. I love my porch, but if there's a porch on every single house, you start to get repetitive, and so we really want to mix it up as much as we can. So we'd really like to keep it if we can.
On that, I'm looking at it from zoomed in a bit more on my computer. It looks like there's shake over the garage. Is there some way that could be incorporated into kind of the peak of the, something to change it or just add a bit more dimension on it?
Well, adding and changing a lot. We really, if we really prefer to keep it the way it is. If you really don't like it, then we can pull it. But we really like to keep it. We try our best to put the architectural features on there. And the other thing we have to keep in mind is we have to keep the the prices of the elevations relatively similar, because if one gets out of whack, then it doesn't matter because nobody's gonna build that elevation. So we do have to, so if we put an additional thing on here, then we have to thinking about taking something off over here. So we really, we try not to swap them around too much.
Are these, all of these elevations currently the ones that are in vermilion as well? Or is there a selection of these that are, I know that might be hard to know right off the
Oakhurst.
top.
Yeah, it's Oakhurst, around the corner, that sold out a couple of years ago, is where the architectural series is. And it's called that for a reason. These homes are actually the most expensive we have on a price per square foot basis for that reason. So, yeah, Oakhurst, and so I think the elevations are nearly similar. We may have tweaked them over the years, but that's probably, that is the comparison you'd look at.
Okay, so maybe I'm the one who likes it, so. I actually think it looks great just the way it is. I agree, there's no way to extend that porch whatsoever, and I also don't want to take it out. I also understand not putting the shape above it, although I understand why you want it in there, for just a different look, but from a sheer labor perspective, it's gonna be a nightmare. I can already see that happening. But and I think I saw this in the plans, but just remind me, these are not flat back elevations. There's something that's articulating out of every single one of these things, right? So I don't drive on the back, you can see there's an articulation off the back. That becomes very important to me as you start to drive our neighborhoods.
Right.
Because you can see our old neighborhoods where it's just flat, 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 all the way back. And I don't like the look of that, so I appreciate the articulation you never bring back there with the porches and giving it some dimensional features at the back as well, right?
Yep.
Because the way these things are often set up, you get to drive by a lot of these things on the road.
Yep.
And I'm one of those guys who drive down that road all the time. So looking at those houses, that's the kind of stuff I see. I don't drive on the front sides of them, I drive on the back side of that forward road, so
Right.
I appreciate that. But I'm fine with the way all the house looks. So.
Okay, appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. That was my question, or just I wanted to make sure that if that was a change, that they weren't all exactly the same.
Yeah.
That you had that diversity of
Right.
small porch to big porch.
Yep.
So I do agree that they get along well look.
Yeah.
On the same 12-foot long porch, whatever it is. So I guess I agree on that. I do have a question on the aerial photo that I had up originally.
With the concept plan?
That one
or the?
The aerial. Yeah, so the neighborhood to the east.
Welshel Springs.
Okay. So is the land at the south end of Welchel Springs, is that also Welchel Springs?
That section that he's circling right there, yeah, that's the last section of Welshel Springs.
I was trying to picture if that's
Yeah.
going to be a different neighborhood or if it's an extension of the neighborhood that we've already seen.
And then Grant is
Yes.
further to.
Wait.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to get my bearings of rights where. Okay, perfect.
It's where that kind of, as you come through there, Sean, it's where the S turn is at Ford
Yeah.
Road.
Yep.
So you kind of make that S turn, this is Ann Kelly's property, so that's there, so.
Perfect. That answers my question.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion. Motion to approve. And a motion by Pete.
You'd add the condition on the change of the color condition.
Okay, that's your motion. Yes.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Pete and a second by Emily. Okay.
Ms. Baumgartner?
Aye.
Ms. Bowman?
Aye.
Mr. Curran?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes. The motion carries. Next matter on our agenda is PUD-21-12, COVE at Fort Creek. Grant Communities LLC requests approval of residential home elevations for a new 192-unit single-family residential development known as the COVE at Fort Creek PUD. The property is generally located on the west side of Florida Road, north of 113th Street.
Thank you. Yes, and this is just directly west of the development we just talked about and north. So just to highlight some of the features of this proposed subdivision. They'll also be making improvements to Florida Road, and the two developers are working out how they're going to extend Cynthia Ann Road to Florida. They're also going to be constructing a portion of the Geist Greenway. That's identified here in the concept plan, as well as preserving trees along the existing Thorpe Creek, and adding a public access easement for a future trail through that area, and then also stubbing to the future development to the south. So here's the pedestrian exhibit, just to give you an idea of this. Incorporates a lot of pedestrian features into it. As mentioned, that Geist Greenway shown in green. They'll also be adding a path that connects the Greenway to Florida Road, the south of the development. Through here, that will be placed in common area. And then they'll also have the perimeter path along Florida Road as required in the UDO. So this neighborhood is broken up into 3 sections. The first one is the Grand Estates Collection. So this is going to be an extension of Thorpe Creek. That's highlighted in red here. They're proposing 8 floor plans for a total of 27 home elevations for this area. So they have plenty of variety to choose from. The next section is the Designer Collection. So this is targeted more towards move-up home buyers, so second-time home buyers potentially. They're proposing 13 floor plans for a total of 57 elevations. And then the final area is the Patio Collection. This is targeted towards an older demographic and more single-story homes, and total of 8 floor plans and 17 elevations. So staff did identify 8 elevations in the staff report that we suggested incorporating brick features into these elevations. So they were proposing a siding feature and then a brick feature, and Fisher Homes has agreed to incorporate just the brick feature in all of these elevations. So they've agreed to remove the siding option from this neighborhood. So staff doesn't have any additional comments. We'd be supportive of the proposed elevations, and I will turn it over to Steve if he has any additional comments.
Thank you again, Megan. For the record, Steve Harden with Fagery Drinker, representing Grand Communities and Fisher Homes. From Grand Communities, which is the development arm of Fisher Homes, Hillary Laffin is here. And then from Fisher Homes, the home builder side, Amanda Deerdorf is here as well. The only thing I would add to what Megan mentioned was that the price point for the 3 different areas, the Grand Estates are expected to run from $750,000 to $930,000. The Designer Collection between $405,000 and $535,000, and then the Patio Home Collection is anticipated to start in the 300s and average between $440,000 and $475,000. And as Megan mentioned, there's so many different elevations, as you probably saw in the packet. Fisher Homes was fine to not include the siding options, and with that, we'd be happy to answer any other questions or respectfully request your favorable recommendation tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. Any questions? Comments? Okay, so what's an outlier on that one for maybe on one, I can't remember the collection, which was towards the end, just with the single slanted roofs, seemed really outside of all the other architectural things, so maybe pull that one up if you can.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it on the report, I glanced at it last night while I was laying in bed, preparing for my meeting.
So,
Bottom right
right
corner.
here.
Yeah, that one, it just seems to be an outlier to me, and again, I'm not saying it's a bad looking, dwelling at all, I just think it doesn't fit in with everything else you got there. You got a bunch of great homes, and it just seems to me to be an outlier. It doesn't seem to match anything in there at all. I mean, I understand why, it just seems like more you in Seattle or something.
It's interesting, we've talked about it before, I can't get 12 people in my church degree on something, and so I'm certain we're not gonna get everybody. There are some at least one council member, let me say, who has always encouraged the builders to try to bring a more contemporary, modern look and not just build what everybody thinks everybody here in Indiana would like. And so I was actually really excited for Fisher Homes to I didn't even encourage them, they just did it. They said this is what they're seeing around the country. So they've got not just that one, they've got a handful. You probably saw the black and white ones as well, that they're willing to experiment and see what the market would like to do. And so we understand the committee is here for a reason, but I think that's partly why it's there, is because they see that there's interest, and it may not be for everybody, but it may be for a lot more people if they have the opportunity. And so one of the things we've heard from others is if you don't give them the option, no one's going to choose it. And so it would be kind of exciting to see what people would like. But again, we're here to collaborate.
Ideal killer for me, Steve. I'm just pointing out what I saw.
Yeah, thank you. No,
I'm
yeah.
looking behind there off the south screen, garage has got a bunch of stuff going in
Yeah.
there. Very modern, I love it, right? It seems to be really well placed. You know, I just look at every single other house and say, that, you know, it's my personal.
I think if there was more of them, it would not stand out so much. But if the entire house was that, or some variation like that,
They do have right behind that, you know, if you saw in the packet, it wasn't just on the first three. I mean, they've got other ones that are throughout. Let me see if I can.
and you may find that everybody wants to buy, wants to build those in because of the giant.
What do I know? I'm not buying a house.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right, I think most of the floor plans have as an option one of the more modern looks. So it's just like having Craftsman, and then there's modern, and there's Greek Revival, and so it's not just that one that we showed.
Like I said, not ideal killer for me, for sure.
Okay.
Will this be one of the first communities you introduced the modern look to, or has it been other communities?
Hi, for the record, my name is Amanda Deardorff, Fisher Homes, 6602 75th Street, Indianapolis, 46250. So about a year and a half ago, our architecture team did a major rehaul on two of our series of homes, Designer and our Maple Street Collection, which we're not showing here this evening, and we are in the works of doing all of our series. But after extensive market research across the country, not just selectively in the Midwest or where our portfolio markets are, but the second opted, when surveyed consumers, other than like a traditional style elevation that they would like, would be a modern elevation. So I think as the coasts see this style of architecture, it will move into the Midwest and actually will attract consumers, maybe out of their current housing stock within Fishers, because they are looking for this, particularly when we can offer this in that $400,000 to $500,000, $550,000 price range, where you typically only see this in a custom, quote custom, very, higher priced home. I think we are going to be seeing more and more of this. We are currently building these elevations in existing neighborhoods around the greater Indianapolis area and having a lot of success, high take rate. So, yeah, first neighborhood in Fishers, but we look to, build more around the city.
Pete, did you say let's give it a whirl?
Yeah.
That's what that was your strategy.
You know, I me out of my house. I told my wife that 1,000 times. The funny thing is, I grew up in a house with all slanted roofs like that.
Yes.
And my dad took a ration of, you know what, the entire neighborhood, because everybody else was. Maybe that was something. But I'm making motion to approve. Anybody's got any other comments?
Yeah, we'll see the market will demand.
Yeah.
They're smarter than I am.
I do agree that it is refreshing to see something that's different than what we traditionally see. And you're right, the grass and stuff, I think that is, obviously I think it's doing very well. And the townhomes, that actually are going to have that similar look.
Yep.
So that was, my only thought was why not more of it? Why just the limited number? But I understand, obviously, you're not going to have an entire neighborhood necessarily unless you can really see the demand for it. And maybe you will have the demand
That's
for
right.
it. And if you do, that's awesome.
Come back and help.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you.
With that, I would entertain a motion. Motion by Pete,
I'll second.
second by Emily. Okay, roll call please.
Ms. Baumgartner,
Yes.
Ms. Bowman,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
and Mr. Stevenson.
Yes. The Motion carries.